Right. Well, the water. What about that? Then? Isn't most of the water out of the Colorado? Or
No, most of the water in California is from the Sierra Nevadas and from Shasta. Yeah, it's usually we have our snowpack was typically this year was around 25 to 40% of normal. So it was very
big difference.
Yeah,
that's the main supply.
Yeah, and because in July, right now until through August, that stuff is melting and continually filling up our reservoirs.
Right. Okay.
And our lakes, and that's not going to happen this year.
Right.
In another
so
couple
the
of
water's going to fall off quite rapidly in a couple of months.
Yeah.
But there's an El Nino blowing up, and so there may be.
Yeah, we could have a good year next year, but
nobody knows about the weather. It's just it's a question mark.
Yeah,
that's it.
The Farmer's Almanac called for this last year to be a wet year.
Right. Okay.
We were supposed to have a lot of rain in like October, November.
Right. Yeah,
and
that's based on a gopher or something, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the Farmer's Almanac does, but usually it's. I would say it's more right than wrong.
Right.
But there's a lot of models out there that are saying El Nino is going to happen, but we'll see what happens. El Nino is actually, we do get El Nino effects, but down south is where they get most of the effects, down in Los Angeles and the southern part, and maybe the Bakersfield area will get some of that. But we'll definitely see it. If we get an El Nino year, it'll be nice. But
well, it's not something you can use in planning anyway. You've got to look at what you've got now, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
And think. So, has anybody come to any almond farm and said we're going to have to turn off your water now? How does it work? Do you buy the water, or what do you do?
Yeah, you have. So out of the reservoirs and out of the rivers, you have either senior rights, you have riparian rights, senior rights, or junior rights.
Okay.
You have some limited rights, so you have, depending upon how old your rights are, you have more senior rights, or not as good. Okay.
Right.
We have there's at the end of our orchard there's a canal that runs out of. It originates. We have a lake back up there called Clear Lake. Comes all the way down the valley, the Capay Valley, and then out of the Capay Valley. It's the creek is called Cache Creek, or the river is called Cache Creek.
Right.
And we have the irrigation system is in Yolo County. They've built these canals, and they go out and kind of splinter off of Cache Creek, and they usually have dams, and they divert the water into the canals, and the canals will fill up, and all the farmers can use it for this year. This year. For the first time in, I want to say 100 years or something like that, there's no water in our canal. So anybody who didn't have a well, who was just farming on irrigation, like what they call district water, the district, is like the county or whatever.
Right.
Anybody who was just depending upon the district water is not going to get water this year. So there's no water.
It's an incredibly political issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It spans a couple hundred years,
right.
And it's not getting any better. It's not getting any easier. It's not going to get any more clear. It'll always be a problem. There'll always be water issues.
So for you, the water issue is there's no water in that creek, right?
There's no water in the creek, but we have a well.
Okay.
So
what is that, tube well?
What's that?
A tube well, like.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
You bore down.
Right.
You put a pump in it, and you just pump up. And some people would have to go. Our well is probably pumping from about 80 feet down.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Very good. And some people have to pump down in the valley. You know where Modesto is.
Yeah, we're going there tonight.
So Modesto, if you look to the east of Modesto, there are these rolling hills, slow rolling hills. They used to do a lot of cattle grazing, goat grazing, like ranching of animals. They're planting almonds in those now, and they're boring down 1,500 feet for water.
1,500 feet.
1,500. So very, very far. And there's no district water that far east.
No.
They put the district water comes into Modesto or Turlock area.
Right.
So there's pretty good water around there because they're very close to the Sierras, and there's also there's some lakes and stuff that they pull off of, so they have a very good system over there.
So people are still making almond orchards?
Yeah, they're still planting almond orchards, but it's not. I think it's actually smart. People that don't understand it, I don't understand why they don't understand it, because
well, you got to do it when the money's there, isn't it?
Yeah, and the drought's not going to last for 10 years.
Yeah.
The drought has a finite amount of time. This is the third year in a drought. It could go for 4 or 5 years. Probably won't, but it could go for 4 years, maybe 5. But if you can plant it and get it established and get a little bit of water, because they're little.
Yeah.
When
they
you
don't need that
plant
much
it, you
water
have a
anyway.
stick, has a few leaves. The next year it's this big. The next year it's this big.
Yeah, then you're ready for the good times.
Right. And so in 2 years you're going to have water.
Yeah.
So why not establish an orchard right now? So,
especially you got the money in your pocket to do it with.
Yeah. So anyway, everybody has different water. Some people have district water only. Some people have a district water and a well. Some people have district water and a good well. Some people have a good well or a bad well. Some people have really low water that's really far down. Some people have water that's really close. Some people have a lot of salt in their water.
Sure.
Some people have, like we have, boron in our water. Right. Boron is almonds tolerate boron.
Okay.
Walnuts hate boron.
Okay.
Pistachios like boron.
Right.
So and nobody likes salt.
Right.
Trees don't like salt, but there's, like, down on the west side, there's a lot of salt coming out of the wells.
Right.
So it just depends on, everybody has a different situation. Some people pump right out of the Sacramento River, have senior water rights. They'll never have a problem.
Yeah.
We have a friend who has a walnut orchard, couple walnut orchards along the Sacramento River.
Right.
They have what are called junior water rights, but they have water rights since 1914. And the state issued them a piece of paper, a letter that said, "Stop pumping water now.
Really?
Your rights are done." And they are suing the state of California. They got a lawyer in Sacramento. They're suing them. They're going to take the water out as long as they can.
Well, I was just wondering whether there's a certain amount of over usage on the basis. I mean, like say for apricots in Turkey, they just flood the trees once or twice a year.
Yeah.
Twice a year. So there's like, you can imagine that kind of situation. You'd do it now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd do it as early and use as much as you.
Yes.
But just like any other shortage thing, people start overusing the product and by creating the shortage.
Yeah.
Is there a certain amount of that going on?
There is. There's just a little bit. There's flooding. We have north of us. If you drive north, are you going north?
Yeah, we'll go to
Okay, so you'll go through our rice growing area,
all right,
and you'll see flooded fields for the rice. So that's still happening, but they got.
That's for the Budweiser boys.
Yeah,
it's made of rice.
Yeah. So they have. It's unbelievable to me that they can still grow as much rice as they have in a drought year, because there's miles and miles of flooded fields for rice.
Other fruit trees, you see like a